Friends, listen. Close your eyes for just 10 seconds. Do you hear that? That is the sound of the word you think you know, crumbling. Most people walking up today think they are in control. They think they choose what to wear, what to eat, what to believe. They think the news they watch is giving them facts. But what if I told you that everything you've seen in the last 48 hours is a carefully constructed lie? What if I told you that while you were sleeping in a decision was made in a room with no windows, a decision that has already sealed the fate of millions of people? I'm not talking about a small change. I'm talking about a shift in the very foundation of global power. A shift so violent, so deep, and so terrifying that the people involved are literally being erased from existence to keep it quiet. For the last 3 weeks, I have been digging, I have been looking into the dark corners where even the biggest media houses are afraid to shine a light. My sources are whispering, and what they are saying is making my blood run cold. Guys, we are taught to look at the surface of the water, but right now there is a monster moving underneath, and it is about to break the surface. Today on AK Kashyap Unfiltered, we aren't just doing the stream, we are performing an auto autopsy. We are performing an autopsy on a global secret. I'm going to show you things that weren't supposed to be seen. I am going to tell you about people who were at the top of the world yesterday, but today they don't even have a grave. But before we go into the darkness, I need to know who is with me. Look, the system doesn't want you to hear what I am about to say. The algorithm hates this. The gatekeepers want this stream to stay small. They want you to stay distracted by celebrity gossip and useless politics. But you are here because you feel it. You feel that something is wrong. You feel the tension in the air. You aren't just viewers, you are the last line of defense against the fog of lies. I call you the truth warrior. A truth warrior doesn't just listen, they take action. They spread the light right now. I need every truth warrior in the chat to hit that share button. Send this link to your groups, to your family, to your friends. If you haven't followed this channel yet, do it now. Why? Because once I reveal what is happening, this stream might not stay up for long. Become a truth warrior, follow, share, subscribe. Let's build a wall of truth that they cannot tear down. Are you ready? Because the door is about to open. Now, guys, just imagine a man. This man has more power than 99% of people on this planet. He controls weapons that could turn cities into dust. He is a giant. He is a king. And then, in the blink of an eye, he vanishes. Not just him, his friends, his colleagues, his entire legacy. Imagine a weapon of war, the most advanced technology human beings have ever created. Do you think it's ready? Do you think it's invincible? But when you open it up, you find nothing but water and betrayal. There is a country that is pretending to be a powerhouse, but inside the walls are rotting. There is a leader who is so paranoid that he is eating his own generals for breakfast. The world thinks it's witnessing a policy change. I'm telling you, it's a purge. It's a massacre of the elites. Why now? Why this month? Why this week? Because 2027 is coming, and the man at the top has realized that his empire is built on sand. He is terrified, and a terrified man with nuclear codes is the most dangerous thing in history. I'm going to tell you whose name have been crossed out in red ink. I'm going to tell you what happened in the corridors of power where suicide is just a code word for execution. And most importantly, I'm going to tell you how this is going to hit your bank account, your country's border, and your children's future. Stay with me, don't blink, don't look away. The truth is coming and it's unfiltered. We are minutes away from the big reveal. The data is ready, the maps are ready, the story is laid bare. But I'm asking you one last time, if you believe that the truth belongs to the people and not the politicians, then stand up. Show me the power of the truth warrior. If we reach our share goal in next 2 minutes, I'll pull back the curtain on the water scandal that has paralyzed the world's largest army. Follow AK Kashyap Unfiltered. Join the army of truth warriors. Share this stream like your freedom depends on it because today it just might. The clock is at zero. The silence is over. Welcome to the deep dive. Welcome to the truth. Now, guys, look at me very closely. This is not just news. This is not just news update. This is a global power move that will change how you look at the world map. Right now, as we speak, something terrifying and historic is happening inside the Great Wall of China. Yes, the dragon is eating its own. Guys, China has just sentenced two of its former defense ministers to death. Just think about that. These aren't low, low-level soldiers. These are the men who held the keys to the world's largest army and now they are being wiped out. Why? Is it really about corruption? Or is Xi Jinping clearing the path for something much bigger, maybe even a world war? So guys, stay with me until the very end because the biggest reveal, the real reason why the rockets in China are filled with water instead of fuel is coming up later. You cannot afford to miss this. This is the purge of a life and it's getting messy. Now, let's go back. This didn't start yesterday. To understand why these generals are facing a firing squad, you have to understand how China works. In most countries, the army belongs to the nation, but in China, the army belongs to the party. If you know the name of that party, type the name in the comment box right now. Now imagine a system where you can't even stand for a local village election unless the big boss says yes, and that is China. They have a ladder. Local level, provincial level, national level. At the very top there is a group of 7 people called the Politburo Standing Committee (PSC). These 7 people run the lives of 1.4 billion humans. And who is the boss of these seven? Of course, Xi Jinping. He is the president. He is the general secretary of the party. He is the chairman of the military. He is, for all intents and purposes, the emperor. Guys, in 2018, he changed the rules. He decided he would be president for life. But here is the problem. When you are king for life, you become very, very paranoid. You start looking at your generals and thinking they are loyal to me or are they waiting for me to fail? Since 2023, we have been on a mission to purify the system. He is not just firing people, he is making them vanish. One day you are the defense minister meeting world leaders. The next day your name is erased from the internet. Just think about it. Stay with me because this part is important. This isn't just Chinese drama, it affects the phone in your pocket and the fuel in your car. I'll tell you how in a minute. Let me break this down simply for all of you. Who wins and who loses? Who benefits from this? Of course, Xi Jinping. By removing the old guard, the veterans who fought for and have their own power bases, he is making sure that every single person in the military owes their career only to him. But who loses? The global stability. When a leader like Xi Jinping starts killing his own generals, it means one of two things. What are those two things? The first is he is losing control and is terrified of coup, and second is he is preparing for a massive war and wants only yes men around him. There is a shocking scandal. You need to know about it. It's called the water in rocket scandal. Intelligence reports recently found that China's rocket force, the guys in charge of nuclear missiles, were so corrupt that they were filling missiles canisters with water instead of fuel to save money. Imagine that. The world is scared of Chinese missiles, but inside they are just expensive water tanks because the generals stole the money. This is where things got interesting. Xi Jinping realized his military was a paper dragon. It looked strong on the outside but was hollow inside. So he is burning the whole thing down to rebuild it. So he wants a military that can take over Taiwan by 2027. That's the magic year. To do that, he needs generals who won't say no when he gives order to attack. If you think this is just China's problem, think again. If China goes to war, the global supply chain wrecks. Your electronics, your medicine, your clothes, everything stops. This is a global earthquake. Now, friends, I want from you to close your eyes for some seconds and imagine you are sitting in the dark, cold war room in Beijing. On the walls, there are massive digital maps. You see first island chain. You see the US Navy ships in the Pacific. You are the general. You have served for 40 years. You know the reality. You know your troops aren't ready. But, but across the table sits Xi Jinping. He doesn't want to hear not ready. He wants to hear victory. If I was the leader of a country like India or the US, I would be watching this purge very closely. Why? Because the dictator who is cleaning his house is usually getting ready to go out and fight. Now look at the geography. From the freezing mountains of Himalayas to the deep blue waters of the South China Sea, Xi Jinping is repositioning his species. He's creating theater command. He's making the military leaner and meaner. But there is a catch. When you rule by fear, your generals stop telling you the truth. They only tell you what you want to hear. And that, my friend, is how empires fall. Just look at the history. When a leader is surrounded by yes men, they make huge mistakes. So, is Xi Jinping making the biggest mistake of his life, or is he the most brilliant strategist on our time, of our time? Most people don't know this, but the purge has already removed over 100 top leaders. That is a bloodless civil war happening right on the top. Now, guys, I want to look at the chat or the comment box right now. I want to I want you to answer me. Do you think Xi Jinping is doing the right thing by clearing out corruption, or is he just a dictator scared of his own shadow? Type clean or scared in the comments right now. And here's the poll for all of you. If China attacks Taiwan in 2027, what should the rest of the world do? It's a poll time, guys. The question is, if China attacks Taiwan in 2027, what should the rest of the world do? Your options are A. Stay neutral and protect our own economy, and B. Stop China at all costs. Drop your answer. I want to see where the AK Kashyap Unfiltered family stands. Most people don't realize how lucky we are in India or the US or the Europe. You can criticize the government, but in China, if you are Jack Ma, the richest man in the country, and you say one wrong word, you disappear for months. Would you trade your freedom for a faster growing economy? Just think about it. Because that is the bargain the Chinese people live with every day. Their state is supreme, your religion, your thoughts, your family, nothing comes before the party in China. Now let's bring all it together. What we are seeing in China is a tectonic shift. Two defense ministers, Li Shangfu and Wei Fenghe, have been sentenced to death. The message is loud and clear, no one is safe. Xi Jinping has spent 3 years purifying his military. He has removed the corruption, but he has also removed the experience. He is betting everything on 2027. He wants to be the man who reunites China no matter the cost. And my bold opinion on all this is that this is a sign of weakness, not strength. A strong leader doesn't need to kill his own generals to stay in power. This tells that inside the Great Wall of China there are cracks, deep, deep cracks. But don't be fooled. A wounded or paranoid dragon is more dangerous than a sleeping one. We are living in the most dangerous decade of our lives. The moves happening in Beijing today will decide the price of your bread tomorrow. You won't get this perspective on the mainstream news. They will give you the what here. But here at AK Kashyap Unfiltered, we give you the why. Stay tuned. So guys, we have been together for nearly 25 minutes. We have traveled through the secret corridors of Beijing, looked into the cold eyes of a paranoid emperor, and discovered the rotting core of a global superpower. Now let's look at the pieces of the puzzle we laid out today. We started with a death sentence, not for criminals but for defense ministers. We talked about Li Shangfu and Wei Fenghe, men who once stood at the pinnacle of military power, now arrested. We looked at the purge of the elite, a systematic cleaning of the house by Xi Jinping. Why? Because the paper dragon was revealed. We talked about the water and rocket scandal, the ultimate betrayal where fuel was sold for profit and replaced with water. We realized that Xi Jinping isn't just fighting corruption, he's fighting for his life too. He's clearing the path for 2027, a year that might see the world go up in flames over Taiwan. We analyzed the structure of CCP, how the Politburo is now a circle of yes men. We discussed how this internal collapse affects you, the global economy, the supply chain, and the fragile peace we live in. We saw that when a dictator feels the ground shaking beneath his feet, he doesn't step down, he tightens his grip until something snaps. So guys, this isn't just a Chinese story, this is a story of how power, when left unchecked and shrouded in secrecy, eventually turns into a monster that eats its own children. But before I give you my final, most unfiltered thought on what happens next, I need to speak to people who make this channel possible. If you are still here, you are not a casual viewer. You are someone who refused to be fed the junk food news of the mainstream media. You are someone who wants the raw, jagged truth, no matter how uncomfortable it is. You are my truth warrior. Right now, I want to see the power of the truth warriors in action. If this stream opened your eyes, if it gave you a perspective you won't find anywhere else, then do your duty. Hit that follow button. If you haven't, but more importantly, share this stream. A truth warrior's weapon is information. When you share this, you are breaking the chains of the algorithm. You are helping someone else wake up. Post this link in your groups, on your Twitter, on your WhatsApp status. Let the world know that AK Kashyap Unfiltered is where the truth lies. Be the truth warrior the world needs. Share it now. Guys, as we prepare to step away from this screen, I want you to carry one thought with you. History tells us That empires don't usually fall because of an invasion from outside. They fell because of the rot on the inside. What we witness today is a superpower in a state of controlled explosion. Xi Jinping has created a system where truth is the enemy. When you punish generals for failures of a corrupt system, you don't create a better army, you create an army of ghosts. You create an army of people who are too afraid to tell the leader that the rockets won't fire. The biggest danger isn't that China is strong, the biggest danger is that China is unstable. An unstable dragon lashes out. It looks for enemies abroad to distract from the fires at home. This is why 2027 is a red circle on calendar of history. I want you to think about the virtual map we drew today. From the Himalayas to the Pacific, the pieces are moving. The silence coming out of Beijing is the loudest warning we have ever received. The mainstream media will tell you everything is under control. They will tell you it's just internal politics, but, but, we know it better. We have seen the water in the tanks. We have seen the empty chairs in the Politburo. We know that the storm is coming. This stream is ending, but the story is just beginning. While you go about your day, remember what we uncovered. Keep your eyes on the headlines, but read between the lines. Look for the names that aren't being mentioned. Look for the stories that are being suppressed. To my truth warriors, thank you for standing with me. Thank you for sharing the light. Don't just subscribe, turn those notifications on. You don't want to be the last person to know when the next bomb drops. I'm not saying goodbye. I'm saying stay alert. The world is changing in ways they don't want you to understand. But as long as you are here, you will never be in the dark. Follow AK Kashyap Unfiltered for real, raw, and absolutely unfiltered geopolitics. The truth is heavy burden, but only the truth warriors can carry. I'll see you in the next stream. The hunt for the truth continues.